always attracting the wrong people in your life. I want to take a look at that briefly, and then I want to share some really important information that could help you break this vicious cycle of somehow attracting the wrong people into your life. I don't want to start in the middle. I don't want to start at the end. I want to start all the way back at the beginning. I want to start at the basis of how you are meeting these people that turn out to be the wrong person. Yes, before the wedding proposal or the marriage proposal, before this wonderful courtship and or relationship, before the first date, there is a little thing that we call the introduction. And you would be amazed at how important it is to introduce yourself properly. Do you have the proper introduction? Now, when we're talking about writing a speech or some literary work, an article or something like that, we understand that there are quite a few components to the introduction. But one of the major components of the introduction is the context of what comes after the introduction. What I am saying to you is your introduction. It places into context the circumstances that makes you who you really are at your core, and it allows for people to have a better understanding of who you really are. Not who you think you are or who you would like to be someday or who you even say you are, but your actions tell us all that we need to know. And so my question for you today, is your introduction appropriate for who you really are and who you want us to meet when we're meeting you? Why are you meeting or attracting the wrong people? Let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the introduction. You see, the introduction is important because the wrong introduction could turn the right person off and could turn the wrong person on. And so if you somehow keep attracting and meeting and finding yourself in these relationships with the wrong person, then maybe you're not being properly introduced. So what is a good introduction? A good introduction basically prepares the person that you're meeting for two things. A, what to expect from you, and B, what not to expect from you. Your introduction gives the other person a preview as to what your overall message is, the message for your life, more or less, your purpose, and sometimes your goals, sometimes your boundaries are a part of this message. Your values are part of this message. So if you're not introducing yourself properly, then the person on the other end of the introduction is not meeting who you think they're meeting. When you say, "This is who I am," and your message is whatever you say that it is it consistent with your actions? You see, I was always taught that in order to be successful, we have to learn to utilize the language properly in order to minimize confusion and misunderstandings. In order to keep the misunderstandings to a minimum, we have to learn to utilize the language, speak the language properly. And in order to do that, we have to have subject and verb agreement. When you say this in terms of writing literature or speech making and that sort of thing, we know what we're talking about when we say subject and verb agreement, but what does that have to do with two people meeting one another with regards to friendships and or relationships? Well, the subject is you, and the verb, now that's your actions, your behavior. Is your behavior consistent? Does your behavior agree with your message? If not, then you are basically a walking contradiction. And therefore, you struggle with people because the people that you attract or the people that come into your life, these people are coming into your life based on what you do and not what you say. You attract them with your actions, not with your words. And you attract them with your words, and your actions do not agree with those words. And so we must have subject and verb agreement. Now, if for some reason you can determine by doing a little soul searching that your actions and your behavior are not consistent with your message, then one of two things have to happen. A, you either have to change the way that you behave, period, or you have to change your message, period. The reason why you have to do this is because if your actions do not agree with your message, then there's only one of two things at stake. One, we don't ever really get to know you. And two, you obviously don't know who you really are. Remember, I am only here to try to help. But your behavior and your actions must agree with your message. Your actions must be consistent with who you say you are. Your actions speak much louder than your words. Why are you attracting the wrong people into your life? Let's pay less attention to what you say you are, and let's pay more attention to what you show yourself to be. And as always, I wish you guys a life of good health, happiness, fulfillment, and longevity. But more importantly than all of these things combined, I wish you many, many blessings. My name is Jay Jackson, and I hope this information is helpful to you. I'm looking forward to your response.